You know, you see these giant ships all the time, right? These massive container ships and tankers, they're basically floating cities. And they carry pretty much everything we own, our phones, our cars, even our food. But what we don't see are the hidden dangers they face, sailing through some of the riskiest waters in the world.
So that's the big question, isn't it? How do you possibly protect a ship that's as long as a skyscraper with just a small crew, often hundreds of miles from any help? It's a huge, high-stakes problem that the entire world depends on solving every single day.
And the answer, believe it or not, is a test. A really, really tough test. What we're about to get into comes straight from the actual exams that future ship officers have to pass to get certified. So this isn't just theory. This is the real-world knowledge that keeps them, their crew, and billions of dollars in cargo safe. It's all built around something called the ISPS code. You can think of it as the master rulebook for security across the entire maritime world. It's this universal agreement that ensures a port in Rotterdam and a tanker off the coast of Africa are all speaking the same security language. It's the system that makes it all work. So how does a big, complicated code like this actually work in the real world? Well, it all starts with one person. Because you can have all the rules you want, but at the end of the day, you need someone on board to actually be in charge. And that's the absolute core of the system. No confusion. No, I thought he was doing it. On every single ship, one person is the designated point person for security. It's a huge responsibility. Because when things go wrong, decisions have to be made in a split second. And that person is called the Ship Security Officer, or the SSO. And you can see right here, this is not just some fancy title. This is an actual question from a first mate exam. To get that promotion, you have to know this role inside and out. So what are those duties? What does this ship's security captain actually do all day? Well, think of the SSO as the team captain for the ship's defense. They're the one who takes the security plan, we'll get to that in a minute, and actually puts it into action. They're constantly doing inspections, making sure all the security gear is working perfectly, and running drills so the crew knows exactly what to do. And if something does happen, they're the one making the call. They are the guardian of that ship. Okay, so we've got our security captain. But how do they and the rest of the crew know how serious the risk is on any given day? How do they know when to be on alert? That's where the next part of the ISPS code comes in, and it's actually pretty brilliant. To keep things clear and simple, especially under pressure, the code uses a 3-level alert system. Honestly, the best way to think about it is like the security alerts you might have at school. It's a simple, universally understood way to let everyone know the current danger level. So here's how it breaks down. Level 1 is your everyday normal. Standard security measures are always running. But let's say authorities get intelligence about a possible threat in the area. That's when things kick up to level 2, heightened. You'll see more lookouts, stricter access to the ship, extra patrols. And level 3, that means a threat is imminent or is already happening. That is lockdown. It's maximum security, and everyone is at their stations ready to respond. Which leads to the obvious next question, right? It's great to have these levels, but on a massive ship, how does every single crew member know their exact job when the alert suddenly switches from level 1 to level 2? The answer to that is in what might be the most important and most confidential document on the entire vessel. And there it is again, another question pulled right from a real exam. Future officers must know precisely what goes into this document. It's called the Ship Security Plan, or SSP, and it's literally the playbook for how to protect the ship. Now, what's so important to understand is that the SSP isn't some generic manual. It is a custom-built, top-secret document for one specific ship. It accounts for that ship's unique layout, its typical routes, its crew, everything. And for good reason, it's kept under lock and key. So what's actually in it? Well, it starts by identifying all the potential threats. Then it lays out super strict procedures for controlling who gets on or off the ship. It maps out all the restricted areas, like the bridge and the engine room, and exactly how to secure them. Most importantly, it has step-by-step action plans for any threat imaginable, and the exact protocols for who to call and when. It's basically the ship's security DNA. So let's just zoom out for a second. We've talked about the officer in charge, the threat levels, and the secret playbook. But what does it all really mean? Why is this code so important? At the end of the day, this code, the one these officers are tested on, is more than just a bunch of rules. It's the invisible shield that allows our entire global economy to function. It protects the ships, the cargo, and most importantly, it protects the lives of the sailors out there. Every time a ship pulls safely into port, it's because this unseen system worked perfectly. It really makes you think, doesn't it? The ISPS code is just one of these incredibly complex, hidden systems that our modern world relies on. It kind of leaves you wondering, what other invisible rulebooks are out there, quietly keeping our world running?